Donald Trump has been dropping a lot of bombs so far this week, and today he blew up the internet by dropping a dramatic F-bomb on the White House lawn with cameras from CNN and MSNBC, among others, rolling live. And I have all the explosive details, including the why, the who was targeted, and the reactions coming up next. I discovered this breaking story from a post by Annie for Truth that read, Trump drops the F-bomb on live TV when talking about the ceasefire between Israel and Iran falling apart, another one of his failed art of the deals. Timbo Slice posted, forget bunker busters, Trump dropped the biggest bomb of all, the F-bomb. And Elisa Dissent said, convicted felon Donald Trump dropped the F-bomb on live TV, frustrated that Iran isn't abiding by the ceasefire. Be honest, he couldn't care less what happens to Iran. He just wants the Nobel Peace Prize since Obama has one. I'll share that moment that's being described as a full Trump experience in just a minute, but first, here's Morning Joe for some context and their reaction.
Geopolitically, and I'm dead serious here, his message to Israel is really the great takeaway. Guys, put up the full screen also of his Truth Social post where he just out and out is telling Benjamin Netanyahu, if you're thinking about bombing Iran, pull back. Israel, obviously, this... I don't really need to say this, but I will. This is something that we haven't seen before. In real time, Donald Trump telling Israel not to drop the bombs. Jonathan Lemire, you've covered the president a very long time. Again, an extraordinarily important message for Israel, which is if Benjamin Netanyahu is even thinking about upping the ante here and responding to last night's strikes, the so-called spasms of violence that David Ignatius said comes at the end of every war, and as you're moving into a ceasefire, Donald Trump letting Netanyahu and Israel know he will be very angry if they get in the way of this ceasefire.
Yeah, we got the full Trump experience just there. But
Full Trump,
and he is
360.
The full Trump. He is certainly more. His language is much more colorful and private than he usually allows in public. We're a little bit of it there, too. But you're right. It's interesting. Covering Donald Trump for a long time, even in his remarks to reporters there, though angry at Iran, very clearly far more so at Israel, and then doubling down on that with that Truth Social post. That's the issue here. And we know that he and Benjamin Netanyahu used to be close allies. There was a real frame of that in the previous months. We know that the president did not go to Israel when he went to the Middle East a month or so back. It did seem like they was working pretty well with Netanyahu in the last week or so during this campaign against Iran. But President Trump wants the war to stop. He didn't want it to begin in the first place. He went along with it. He did help, certainly, with that strike at the facilities on Saturday. But now he's eager for it to come to a quick conclusion, and he's furious that, at least for now, it hasn't just yet. The president's really remarkable anger directed at Israel.
Came out and they dropped
here we go.
Bombs the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
And there you go. The good, the bad, the ugly. We got the president's media critique on CNN and MSNBC at the beginning, but what you were looking, just to put it in perspective, we just got that tape fed into us.
I learned yesterday that these USA, Israel, and Iran triangulation stories move so fast that whatever I might say in closing could be irrelevant by the time this video publishes. So instead of commenting on that, I'll comment on the F-bomb. I think the word itself is a bit of a generational thing. Many boomers will recoil at the sight or sound of it, whereas other generations may drop it as frequently as and or but. And Trump, being the unique master of theater that he is, expertly used it here as a drop-the-mic viral moment. But as Elisa Dissent mentioned, his frustration may be more about ego than the unraveling of the peace process. Donald Trump desperately wants to go down in history as a savior. We saw it when he pushed the COVID vaccine through in record time and then received no worship for his efforts, much to his dismay. And we see it in him with the many mentions of the Nobel Peace Prize, expressing his frustration of continually being dismissed for it. And that cuts deep, since Obama, that man who lives rent-free in his penthouse head, has one. I usually root against Donald Trump, but in this case, I would not mind if he got the win and a lasting ceasefire between Israel and Iran happened. If it does happen, let's celebrate the moment and then go back to saying F Donald Trump for lying, creating chaos, and promoting racism, because we know that that will be his lasting non-savior legacy.